Hey, can everybody see me all right? Can everybody hear me? How we doing? Excellent. It says I'm live. We are at an undisclosed location for today's live. I got a special guest. All kinds of crazy things going on. So I'm just looking for somebody in the chat to tell me that you can see me and hear me and life in general is okay. Excellent. Carl says we're all good. Great. Excellent. Somebody else says they can hear me. Lots of people. Sweet. All right, so I'm going to quickly turn the camera around and reveal kind of where we are and what we're doing today. So JP's in there. Excellent. Lots of great people. So here we go. I'm going to try to turn the camera around. We're doing lots of firsts today. All right, so there's the forge. It is not my standard forge. No, we've got a Mr. Volcano forge on a completely different cart. We got our projects warming up, getting some good heat. And then over here, oh, who's that? We got Franco.
Hey guys.
We're at Franco's house today.
Yeah, welcome to my shop. I invited Tim over since he was going to do a project that kind of had some interest of mine. We decided to kind of team up today, so look for him on my live too a little bit later.
Yeah, so we're teaming up. We're doing a double feature. So we've got the anvils. Look at this great setup that Franco has.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's fine. Great leg vise. Look at this. And then today's live has to do with beer. And we have plenty of it. We got some special mugs here. OU. And some rum. That's going to be on Franco's, I think.
That's in there.
It's in mine? Oh boy. Excellent. So what we are doing today is, I'm going to slip this back around. We are making a mauling iron. What is a mauling iron? So, essentially, back in the day, vertical, yes. Back in the day, when you went to the tavern, and it was a cold winter's day, you were looking for a warm drink. Everybody wanted a warm drink. And the most popular item, apparently, was called a flip. Now, a flip is a drink that has lots of ingredients. That includes things like eggs. That includes things like rum, warm beer, and other fun spices. But they would also take your beer or your ale, and they would dunk a hot iron called a Mulling iron into your warm beer, and would change the flavor, would change the malts a bit, and you would have a warm, tasty drink on a cold winter's day. And it being January in Northeast Ohio, there's nothing more than we want than a warm drink. So the inspiration for this was there was another blacksmith from Maine on Instagram who's been making these things. And that reminded me, back in 2001 when I did an apprenticeship in Vermont, I met people from all over the place. And this old English guy comes up to me. And he says, I remember back in the day, my parents telling me about taking the hot poker from the fireplace, sticking it in the fireplace, and then dipping it in their Guinness to have a warm drink during the winter. So all this has kind of been inspiration for today's live. So we're going to make a mulling iron. We're going to take 3/4 inch square bar. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is in metric. I didn't do my homework ahead of time. I apologize. I'm a bad blacksmith. And we're going to make a mulling iron. So 3/4, we're going to draw it out nice and long so that we can then attach it to a handle, because I don't have a power hammer. I have a power shoulder, and that's a lot of hammering. We've also done some steps ahead of time to help speed along the process, because at the end, we're going to take this, we're going to dunk it in some beer, and we're going to see what this is like. I've never done this before. I didn't even try it earlier in the week because I was working on getting everything ready. So that's kind of the background of this. Franco and I thought it'd be great to team up and do this together, and we're gonna have a blast trying this out. So without further ado, we're gonna pour a drink. We're gonna get some foraging going on. So, oh my goodness, we got 47 people. Thank you so much, guys, for coming out. Greatly appreciate it. Franco's also going to serve as my camera person as well.
I'll try and read comments too.
Yeah, and read comments and stuff. So yeah, fun. All right, here we go. I'm going to give Franco the phone. He's going to flip it around, pointing at me. All right.
Here we go, guys.
Normally I don't wear gloves when I forge, but it's cold, so I've got one on my offhand here. So here we go. Put my phones over here, or I'll forget where they are. So let me catch you up to where we're at. So this is 3/4 square. We've given it a nice long rat's tail. It's all curvely square right now. I drew this thing out for what felt like forever. I took 3 inches of it. We kept drawing it out. The tip up here is less than 1/4 inch. The back is 3/8, and then up here we have this bulge that we're going to forge, making it into the mauling iron itself. We're going to take this from square to round. We're going to prep it to attach to the handle portion. We're forging the handle. We're going to rivet it all together because welders are for cool kids, and I don't have one. So we're going to rivet it. And it's not an urban forge project unless there's a rivet involved. So we're just going to kind of flake off some of the scale. Clean it up a bit. Just do a bit of straightening. I did most of this work yesterday. So just some light tapping. Alright, now we're going to take this section here. Right now it's square, we're going to make it round. So we're going to hit those corners, turn it into an octagon, and make it round. While that's heating, this is our handle material. This is 3/8 round. I'm just going to tap the end, kind of round it up a little bit. This is light hammer blows. You can see I'm just really lightly. I'm not hitting real hard. Just prepping that end a little bit.
Great. You got 58 people. You got a hello from Dayton, Ohio, DK Ironworks.
Hey, DK Ironworks, how's it going? Excellent. So, now, this is the end that we're going to use to attach to the mauling iron. So we're going to put a swell on the end of this. It's one of the favorite things that I like to do. So we're going to heat this back up and get that ready to go. We're going to take this, we're going to give it a quick brush as soon as I find out what I did with my handle. There we go. Clean it up. Excellent. those corners, make it more octagon. Like, is it a perfect octagon? No, it is not. Because I am not a machine. And then we're going to hit those corners. We'll hit those corners. And this magically transforms from a square bar into a round bar. Alright. Can everybody still hear me okay over the forging? Now, we're going to find my rounding hammer. Sorry, my ball peen. So this is a cheap Harbor Freight ball peen. We're going to use this rounded end to get that swell into the handle material.
Anna B says she hears everything.
Yeah, excellent. So we're going to strike the top. I softened this already, so I am not striking hardened steel onto hardened steel. Don't do that. So I softened it and then put it back onto its original handle for kicks and giggles. So here we go. I've got a hold fast that I'm using. So if you need a second pair of hands, a hold fast is the way to do it when you're working alone. So here we go. Set that like that. Give it a little whack. Put this ball peen about where I want it. See that swell forming in there? This is ultimately where we're going to attach the Mulling iron itself to the handle with a rivet. I'm just moving the ball peen around a bit so I can get it more rounded like. This is the same thing I did if you join me for my other lives for things like my flowers to attach the leaves to. Something that I do quite often. So I've got a nice swell. I'm just going to clean up the end a little bit. Pretty much out of heat. So what I'm doing is just a little cleanup work. I'm not moving a lot of material. Alright, so there we go. So that's where we're going to attach that. We're going to put the bowl up here. Back to our Mauling iron. We're really jumping into both feet. I don't usually go this fast. We're going to round this up.
Mark says this makes more sense to do forging in Northeast Ohio than it does in Tucson and Phoenix.
It gets cold in Tucson and Phoenix. Gravity check. Gravity's on here. That's good. So we're just continuing to make this round. Now, next step for our Mulling iron is we're going to round this up and put a swell here. The rest of this material, we're going to wrap around the handle. We're going to make a very decorative, pretty wrap. On my prototype when I did this, I made it a lot shorter, and I wanted more wraps. So on this one, I just kept drawing it out, making it longer and longer and longer. I think we're going to get a nice decorative wrap out of this. It's going to look great. So next step, we're going to take this material here, it's about 3/8. We're going to put in an additional swell in there. soft, like Play-Doh. And you do all the things to metal that you can with Play-Doh. So you can stretch it really long, you can squish it in onto itself, you can go from round to square, from square to round, you can pull it apart, you can stick it back together again, you just can't eat it. So we're going to puncture a hole through this hot steel and create a spot where our rivet can go through.
So Molten Make wants to know, are punches hardened? And do you have to re-harden them after time?
So, yes. These are hardened, so this is a high carbon steel. This one, my memory serves me correctly, started out life as a car coil spring. So I recycled that material and heated this up, punched it in oil, and hardened and tempered it in there. If I am not careful, yes, it will lose its temper over time. So if I'm working hard and my punch gets stuck and this tip gets to a critical heat or a higher heat, then yeah, I've got to worry about rehardening and retempering. But as a blacksmith with a forge, that's easily done. I can do that fairly easy. So it's not the end of the world for me, but others, it might be difficult. So great question. All right, here we go. We're going to do a little punching. Notice how far away the red hot part is away from my body. We're just going to create a little hole. You can see that little hole. We're going to flip it around. We want that temperature differential. We're going to go back through the other side. Someone's going to say, but Tim, you're just hitting the underside of your anvil. You're right. We're going to come over here to the pressure hole and go all the way through. And ta-da! We have forged a hole. You can see the little bit that's sticking out there. And that is all the material that we're going to remove. Of course, it is stuck to the back side. Come on there. There we go. There it is. That's the material that we removed. Right there. Isn't that amazing? Blacksmiths have superpowers. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to set that on the anvil. So back to the Mauling iron. We're going to give it a brush. We're going to use the ball peen. We're going to put that swell in. And here we go. Using that hold down tool. Tricks when you're using tools, whether it's using a ball peen like I'm using or using the punch, is to look at where you want your hammer to hit. If you look away, then your eyes look away, and your hammer follows where your eyes are. And you might hit your hand. After hitting your hand, you do the dance of pain. It is not a fun dance, but it is known by many. There we go. We got a nice swell there. It's just swell. I'm just doing a little straightening. Excellent. So there we go. There's our swell. Punch a hole through that. back in just a little bit. I don't want to open this up much more than it already is. That's it. That's all I want to do. And then we check our rivet, make sure that our hole is indeed where we want it to be. We watch our fingers. Looks like we're good. I got to clean up the rivet a little bit, but it looks like we're good. So, next step for the handle, we're going to put a little taper here on the end to make a little curly cue, happy little curl, and make a handle. Remembering to switch it around so that I put the right end into the fire, remembering that that end is hot, but I don't want to touch it. Anvil heights are so important. You can see this area right around here is where I was punching before, so we're just going to put our punch on the back of that, hammer straight through. Come back the other side. Come around here to the pressure hole. Going all the way through, just like that. So easy, so fun, and we created a hole. We didn't have to drill, we didn't have to go over the drill press, we just did that all with one heat. Do a little back punching just to make sure. It's just warm enough. It should probably, and honestly, I should probably just heat it back up. We'll check, see how this is going. It's looking good, but I am going to have to dress up this rivet a little bit. Okay, so we punched our holes. So this is going to get riveted onto the handle. Now we're going to create our ends. So this is the part that's going to go into our beer. Inches. That's a guesstimation. So right around there. We're going to use the cutoff party to do that. Actually, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Cutoff party. So we'll stick this in there. Here's our handle. We're just going to put a nice taper on the end of that, remembering that the other end was hot. I shouldn't have grabbed it with my hand.
We got a hi from Jake Thompson. We got in the audience Spirit and Bear, Maple Tree Studios, Wayne the Woodturner.
Oh my goodness.
Lots of people saying hi and having a good time.
Excellent. So I'm just going to clean up this end a little bit because I did cut off with an angle grinder, and sometimes there's little bits. So now we're going from round to square. And I'm losing heat quickly, but I've got just enough heat to square it up to begin my taper. There we go. And of course, everybody, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. We're not ignoring anyone. We're just going to, if there are any questions, and we just keep right on moving along. So we're going to clean up our rivet while this heats up. So we're going to go over here to our vise, take a handy dandy file, just clean it up real quick. And if I did it right, maybe I'm lucky.
Hampton Wooden Turnings is enjoying that this is on a phone with someone helping.
Yeah, Franco is a great help. we had tried to do something fancy with a laptop and a camera and a tripod. We quickly couldn't figure that out for my live, so we adjusted and went with my phone. And for those of us who grew up in the 90s, that's just amazing to me that I can go live to 50, 60 people all over the world, and they can watch me here in Northeast Ohio. Next, they'll be having babies in hospitals. All right, so that should be good and cleaned up. This is a store-bought rivet. Blacksmiths who are cooler than me can make their own rivets, but I can buy these in bulk, and it's a lot more economical for me. But it's something that I should practice in the future. All right, so we're gonna come back over here, put our rivet down here where we don't lose it. We've got our cutoff hardy. Hardies go in the hardy hole of the handle, and we're going to cut that off.
Yeah, I believe we can switch to landscape style on the phone.
And I'm just going to go slow to establish the cut. Again, I'm not losing material. I'm just moving material to the side. I'm using is only 1.25 pounds. Nothing crazy. So don't think you have to have an enormous hammer, a 3-pound hammer to do blacksmithing. You don't. Now, the part to be careful with is as you cut this, if you're not careful, you can actually cut all the way through and then go sending this piece of metal shooting across Franco's garage, and then you have a flaming hot piece of metal on the other side of your shop. So you don't want to go all the way through. You want to go partially through. Grab a pair of tongs. Come on. Give it a little wiggle. And just like that, it comes apart. So we'll set this bar to the side. Next steps are, we're going to forge a point on this, make it pointy, and then we're going to attach it all to the handle. So those are next steps. Remembering that the piece of metal that you have in your hand is hot, you don't want to touch it. Stick it back in our forge, and we're going to continue with our taper for our handle. How are we doing on time?
You're right exactly at the 30-minute mark, right now.
Excellent. So here we go. We're going to put a little rat tail on the end of this. For a happy little curl. Start the rounding process, making it round. We are getting close to the time where we're going to join these two pieces of metal together. It will be amazing. Oh my goodness. Doing some magical stuff. Now because our Mulling iron is 3/4 material, we're going to jump up to a 3.5 pound rounding hammer to just help that process happen quicker. Now there's some how I handle it as well. If I don't have a good grip with my tongs, this piece could come flying up at me. So I'm just working the very, very end of this. I'm not looking to draw up material. I'm just looking to make it into a nice point. And this is the same process I would use to make a leaf. Rotate it to the other end. Woo! Make it pointy. And if you can tell, I'm angling my hammer, so it's not hitting straight down. I'm hitting it at an angle to help encourage that point to occur. And I've lost heat right about the time I think, like, all right, I can get one more hammer blow in. Yeah, one more hammer blow. That's when I need to just stop and stick it back in the forge. Okay. We're going to finish rounding this off. We're going to make our happy little curl. Here we go. I've choked way up on this 3.5 pound rounding hammer because I don't need a lot of force to round this. I'm going to switch to my lighter hammer. We're going to come over here to the horn. And the horn acts more or less as a fulcrum. I'm going to start this bend, but I'm losing heat very quickly. So I'm going to stick it back in. So when I'm hitting, I'm not hitting on the horn, I'm hitting just past the horn to get that curl to occur. Look at that. All right. Make a happy little curl. And of course, the curl is heating up way faster than the Mulling iron itself. There it goes. All right. So finish this curl.
You guys have any questions for Tim?
Over here to the base. We're going to hit that kind of towards me. Light hammer blows. And just like that, we're going to have a happy little curl. Look at that. Excellent. Next steps, I'm going to heat a larger section, and we're going to go over to the vise and use my bending jig to put a loop around the end. So we'll stick that in. Woo-hoo. A little further. Just that. We're going to finish the tip. Straighten this all up. It's gotten a little wonky. This is the thinnest part back here where we put the swell, so that's where it's going to bend a lot. So you got to pay attention to that. We're just going to refine this a little bit, make it pointy. Hammer blow. That's it. That's the whole thing right there. We're going to straighten it back out because you can tell it bent right back here, and I'm a little sideways. So we're going to straighten that up over here, and we are almost ready to attach that to the handle. Look at that. Woohoo! So we'll set this to the side. Set my bending jig up. There we go. So this is going to help me get a nice consistent bend. Yes, I can do it on the horn. Yes, I can do it at the anvil. But this gives me a nice consistent bend and speeds things along for our demo. So here we go. around. Just like that. Now, of course, the loop is not in line with the rest of the bar. So my next heat, I'm going to cock this around and make it all in line with everything. So we're going to do that real quick. And then we'll get riveting. Insert all the appropriate rivet jokes now.
People having fun. Mark said that was pretty cool.
Excellent. Check the rivet. I'm going to go through here. Might need a little condensing. Alright. Set that there.
Any questions for the blacksmith today?
What about for Franco? Any questions for Franco? We're using Franco's forge today. It's a great forge. 200 Mulling. Alright, here we go. We're going to come back over to the ending jig. So the last shot was something to the effect of this. We're going to flip it around. We're going to use the same dies. And we're just going to put a bend like that. Now, of course, this opened up. We're going to close it up. Look at that. That's hot. Can't come to another person's shop without using their tools. That's just rude.
Anita wants to know how many years have you been forging?
I have been doing it for about 20 years. I started out in southeastern Ohio in college, and I took a class called Historical Interpretation. What that means is it's a class to work at like a historical village. So up here in northeast Ohio, that would be like a Hale Farm, or your like Colonial Williamsburg, you know, those historical places that where people reenact what it was or what it could have been like back in the day. And everyone went around, chose a station. The college had a living history site. I was put in the blacksmith shop. It was not my choice. Like, I am not naturally handy. Okay, I didn't take shop class. I can't change the oil in my car. And they put me in the shop class, or in the blacksmith shop, and I told the professor, like, this is not a good plan. Like, I'm not that person. He said, you'll be fine. Go talk to the blacksmith. And that was 20 years ago. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Fell in love with it. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's been great. I did an apprenticeship in 2001 under the premier blacksmith in Vermont, Payne Junker. Was there for 6 months, saw the fall colors of New England, and kept doing it. I stayed more towards the nature side of things, though. So I've got part of that degree is also being like a park naturalist, someone who lead and guides hikes, tells you about the birds, the bees, the trees, the wildflowers, all that fun stuff. So that was me. I kept this as a hobby. And about 4 years ago, I went full time. So it's been doing it ever since. So it's been great. So here's our handle. Here is our mauling iron. We're going to remember that the end down here is hot. So we're going to use tongs. We're going to put the rivet in the hole. There it goes. You know you want to. There we go. Excellent. Gravity check. Alright. Now, we're going to set the head of the rivet. You, of course, have to use a ball peen, because those are the rules. Alright, you don't really have to, but... Now, before I get too crazy, we're obviously off at an angle. We got to fix that. So we're going to bring this in line.
Yes, Mark, he magically grew a third hand there for a moment.
Thank you, Marco. We're going to set this rivet. So there we go. So that's what it looks like. The final step in this is we're going to heat this section up and we're going to wrap this tail around the bar and make it just darn pretty. Make it decorative. So here we go. The riveting part is over. Or is it?
Got a hi from Highland Boxes.
From Highland Boxes? Mm-hmm. Excellent. Let's go. So we'll give that a minute to heat up. While we're doing that, it is time to prep the beer. We are that close, folks. So, I went to my local brewery, Noble Beast Brewing. I showed them my prototype, told them what craziness I was up to, and they suggested a variety of beers, but we're going to go with this one. This is a sweet potato Saison. I'm probably saying Saison wrong. I'm not no good.
You're doing it just fine.
Great. Appalachia didn't get in the way. And the reading that we did online was that it should be in a ceramic mug so it can handle the heat. I'm going to carefully pour that in there. But I'm not going to pour it all the way up because, again, according to YouTube University, this is going to foam quite a bit. But we got to try it before. Oh, that's nice.
Malton Make says you're spot on with Saison.
Oh, that's good. All right. Which one do you want, Franco?
Whatever one you know what, this is a colonial drink, so why don't we go with Budweiser?
Budweiser? Okay. All right.
The mug anyways, but...
Good, good. I was worried. Alright, so we're going to go over to the vise. We're going to do a quick wrap. Look. Hey, guess what I didn't do? I didn't take the rounding, my bending jig out. Come on out. But that is okay.
DK Ironworks says forage and beer sounds like a chill time in this chilly weather.
That top is hot. So we're going to fence it to come around a little over. I'm losing heat very quickly, but if I can get this one wrap in, that sets me up for my next heat. Work it, work it. I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to heat it up one last time. Look at that. Even though this up here is cold, that 3/4 is just holding heat like you wouldn't believe. Look at that. Yeah, it's so warm and nice. Stick it back in the forge. There we go. I'll leave it right there. Stay.
While Tim's setting up, who has some questions or questions about the drink? What temperature do you think my forge is running at?
Roughly 2,000 degrees.
2,000 degrees is what we got. Malt Make wants to know why you picked the Saison.
Great question. So the idea is that we're changing the structure of the beer, and we're, what's the word I'm looking for? Caramelizing the beer. So I thought that sweet potato would add to the flavor difference to the overall aspect of the beer. So that's why I chose that one to go with. Now we're too cold. So look at that wrap. Look how nice that is. So that's why I chose the Saison with the sweet potato. Because I thought that the malting effect is going to work out well. But I read somewhere where you want to use like a Bock type beer or an amber beer. But the brewmaster at Noble Beast Brewing thought that the sweet potato would also be an interesting one to try as well. So I went with what he said. All right, we're going to do one more heat, finish this wrap, get it all in line, and then it's Dunkin' time. How are we doing on time right now?
We're at 50 minutes.
50 minutes, excellent.
So we got Malt Make says probably a good idea not to have chosen something too bitter. Seems like a good choice. A Bock would also do.
Yeah, I've got a Pilsner over there and a darker ale as well.
Yeah, so we definitely got a number of ones to practice with. I had also picked up this Old English one, this Nut Brown Ale. And some rum.
Alright, I'm going to finish this. That's not going to do it. It doesn't want to do it. It's got to do it. But it don't want to. Last little bit's going to be done with the hammer. Just a little convincing.
Yes, James. For anybody who did see James's live stream, Malt Make, he did mention about crowlers, and Tim definitely has crowlers.
Yes, those are crowlers. Alright, I'm just going to do a little straightening, a little adjusting. And this project is pretty much there. Alright, so there is our Mulling iron. All completed. The next steps that I would do off camera is I would take my angle grinder with a wire wheel and just buff this all out. Get rid of all the kind of cruddiness that happens from the forging. tap that little curl down just a little bit, and then leave it. It's ready to go. Ready to be used after you wire wheel it really good and clean it up. The last thing you want is bits of scale and crud in your nice craft beer. So that's what I would do next. Now, while we've been doing this demo over here in the fire pit that Franco has, we have a Mulling iron that I've already have completed and done, and it's been warming up in the fire ring, and we're gonna give it a try. We're gonna see what this is like, because that's what we all came for. So I'll set this on the anvil. Set that there. I'm gonna grab my frothy beverage. We're gonna do this like it's 1999.
Got Carl Jacobson in there. Hey, Carl. Yes, it did turn out really cool.
Now we do have a bit of ash and stuff on there, so we're gonna brush.
It's good for your teeth.
It is. It is. Makes great soap. See how this goes. Oh, we got foam. I'm getting a bit of sweet potato out of that smoke and steam.
Yeah, it smells fantastic.
Oh my goodness. Nice and frothy. Now the question is will Tim burn his tongue? He did not.
Cheers, Carl.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of foam. I'm getting some good flavor off of it. The liquid is still a little cold, so I don't think we got the entire effect that we were looking for.
Yeah, so we're gonna go in the forge.
We're going to forge for a little bit.
My boss Randy says cheers. I'm gonna switch to you now. I got a couple of things to add.
All right.
Some people are noticing the buns. That's for these guys right here. Got some bratwurst to go with the beer.
Right. Was that honey?
That's honey. Yeah.
Ooh.
So kind of, if they would have done this in colonial times, they would have used some sort of local honey like this. Just a spoonful into the beer. Sweeten it up.
Excellent.
I'm going to lick my fingers because it's my shop. A little bit of rum.
A little bit of rum. We've got plantation rum.
Maybe a little too much rum.
Inconceivable.
And then fresh nutmeg.
Fresh nutmeg. Ooh.
Just to spice it up some more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. We got flame.
Now an egg white could have added a lot more foam as well. But I think this will do.
I think so. If you don't have a forge to heat the poker, a good outdoor fire ring will do the job. Does it taste
really good?
Yeah.
It's got a mulled wine kind of hint to it now when you've added the sweetness
Yeah.
and the spices and the rum. But it cooked off the rum, and you can just smell that just coming off.
I gotta. Oh yeah.
Oh, that is my new favorite thing in wintertime.
Excellent.
Yep. So me and Tim are gonna enjoy some sausage sandwiches.
Yeah. We're gonna enjoy the sausages and try some other beers. Yeah, I'm gonna flip it to me, and we're gonna go from there. So, hey, we're in the last couple minutes here. Want to thank you guys so much and gals for coming out and hanging with us out here at Franco's shop, and we're having a great time. Be sure to continue enjoying the day. Lots of great demos happening. Please go check them out. All of them are down in the doobly-doo. Check that out. And watch for us probably on Instagram, posting more pictures and enjoying trying out this Mulling iron. So thank you so much. If you have questions, send me a DM, a message, comment, like this thing, subscribe, all the other whatever influencers say, video. I'm on Instagram at The Urban Forge and on Facebook at The Urban Forge as well. So catch you all later. Have a great day. Stay warm. Bye.